Hello and welcome to episode 12 of Mediocre Military Modeling. And today we'll be looking at another Soviet tank. This is the T-62, developed, I believe, probably developed in the 50s, but really came into service in the 60s and was upgraded over time. Now, this one's from Trumpeter. There are many versions of this kit out there, as there were different versions of the tank as it was upgraded over time. This is the 1972 version. I think the big thing with the 72 version is they added the machine gun on top here. There's probably other little differences. You'll see kits, later versions of this tank where they did various things to modernize it and like added different kind of like armor to it and things like that. Kind of like the T-55, but this one I went with the 1972 model here, again from Trumpeter. Now, at first glance, looking at this tank, you may mistake it for a T-55 or T-54. They are very similar. You wouldn't be faulted for thinking that at a glance, but there are various differences. A good way to tell really quick here is the T-54, T-55. There's a gap right here between these the wheels right here. On the T-62, there is no gap there. There's a lot of other little differences too. The turret is a little bit different. It's a lot rounder. But the big difference is a bigger gun. I forget. I think the T-55 is a 100mm gun, and it's 120 on the T-62. It's like an upgunned. It's an upgunned T-55 with some other differences. But yeah, the big one here is the gun is more powerful or bigger on the T-62. Again, I'm pulling this from the top of my head from what I remember here. I don't have stats and stuff right in front of me. It's also a little longer than the T-55. But again, at a glance, you'd be forgiven for mistaking the T-62 for T-55 or T-54. So yeah, I had a fun doing this kit. Now, if you'll notice, I have a camo pattern here, like dark green in this. It's a special, I think it's called like pale gray or something. Soviets use that a bit. The Soviets weren't big on camo. A lot of their tanks were various shades of green. It's in the modeling community, it's a thing. It's like the mythical Russian green. They used various shades of green, but they didn't do a whole lot of camo patterns. Now, I came across this pattern here. This Star Decals, they do a lot of interesting like decals. If you get a kit, you don't necessarily like what you get in the kit as far as decals go or camo patterns. You can find a lot of these, and this is the Soviets in Afghanistan. And I found this right here. This is a T-62A, pretty much this guy here. And as you can see, the camo pattern, dark green base, and the gray-yellow is this color here. And you know, I roughly tried to get the pattern the same. This was the Guards Motor Rifle Division. I don't know why they have a little anchor as a symbol. It seems more like a naval unit of some sort. Kind of weird thinking of a naval unit with like tanks, but I don't know, maybe this is kind of like the Soviets versions of the Marines, maybe. Not 100% sure on that, but I think this kit overall came out pretty good. Really only two areas I messed up on. And the one, it's a little hard to tell, but you might be able to tell maybe from that angle. So the area I messed up somehow is the tracks. They stick out. You can kind of see it. Here it's flush on this side, but on this side it is not. It sticks out a little bit. Again, it's not too bad because it's not immediately noticeable, but it is there. I tried to fix this. I tried to cut, I don't know, with the sprocket or the arm right here, and shave out some and then push it in and like kind of super glue, but it would not. It kept popping out and returning to its place. I'm not really sure how that happened, but it did, and it annoys me greatly. But probably at this point, it's probably more hassle than it's worth to try to fix it. But other than that mistake there, I think it turned out okay. I'm glad I went with this interesting camo pattern. Now, a lot of country use the T-62, so if you don't want to use like a monochrome standard Soviet sort of camo, like not camo scheme, or I guess it's camouflage, it's just monochrome. A lot of other countries use this, and they use different camo patterns here. So you could go for one of those, but I wanted to stick with the Soviets in Afghanistan when I found that cool little, that pattern right there. So pretty cool. For instance, if you look here on the box, this kit does provide decals and a camo scheme for, I think it's the Syrian army, and maybe one for the Egyptian army, and they did use a camo scheme. It's almost the opposite of this one, where it's all like sand color, and then it has the dark green line, so it's kind of the opposite of this Soviet one. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to do another like Soviet Afghan war model here, so I went with this camo scheme. So I'm not sure, the dark green I used probably isn't the correct. I used this guy here. This is what I had at the time. It's Mission Models, and this is Russian dark green, but it's 4BO. I think this was more for dark green like World War II rather than the 1980s, but I guess it kind of works there. So let me rate the kit first. I'm going to give, this kit was okay. It was a decent price. I think this barrel might be metal too, but I don't remember. I want to say this came with a metal barrel, but yeah, this did. It did come with a metal barrel. So this was a pretty decent deal. The kit itself, pretty good. Metal barrel, again, always a nice bonus when it's included in these kits. There were some minor things. I had just previously built my T-55A from TACOM, and one of the things that this kit did not have that one had is the fuel line. So there's these little fuel lines here that kind of connect these fuel tanks here to the tank. This did not have them. Whoops. This did not have them, so I kind of had to scratch build them from little bits of wire. It doesn't look perfect, but I think it looks better than them just not being there. So I'd probably give this kit like a 2 out of 3. I don't even think I've run across the kit yet that was terrible that I gave a 1 to, but it's a good kit, but I do have to ding it there for lacking a few details, like I said, like the fuel pipes or fuel lines, I guess, here. But again, it's not too much trouble to scratch build them. So as for my rating, so on this channel we do 3 ratings I give myself. The lowest rating is a artistically inclined 5th grader could do better. My middle rating is that good old college try, and then my best rating I give myself on this channel is certified mediocre. And it's funny because I don't think, sometimes when I'm doing these videos and I pull these off the shelf and I actually set them down and look at them, I feel like maybe it's a little better than I first thought. Like maybe I did a little bit, maybe I should give myself a little bit more credit. I think maybe I did a decent job on this tank, but you know, this really bothers me. Even though it's not super noticeable, that's kind of a ding. I mean, the ammo, the camo job is okay. I don't know. It just feels like it's lacking a little something. I didn't really do much weathering on this at all. I'm gonna give this guy that good old college try. I think it's decent. I think it's a fine build that I did here, but it's nothing special. I think I could have done this better. But it's not bad. So anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.